Last summer, I watched my neighbor haul 6 bags of commercial fertilizer out of his truck, and I just stood there thinking about the 5-gallon bucket sitting in my shed that had been feeding my entire garden since March. 6 bags. Probably $80–90 worth. And he'd be back for more by July, because that's how those products work. They give your plants a quick hit, then they're gone. Meanwhile, my tomatoes were taller than me. My squash was taking over the raised beds, and I hadn't bought a single bag of anything all season. Not one. The difference between his garden and mine came down to a single batch of something I made in my kitchen for free. And the crazy part? This method is hundreds of years old. Farmers knew about this long before any fertilizer company existed, but somehow, most of us forgot. 3 years ago, I was doing the exact same thing my neighbor does now. Every spring, I drive to the garden center and load up the cart. Miracle-Gro, fish emulsion, bone meal, blood meal, bags of composted manure. You name it, I bought it. And my plants would do fine for a while. They'd green up, put on some growth, look decent through May and June. But by midsummer, they'd stall. The tomatoes would slow down, the peppers would just sit there, and everything kind of plateaued. So what did I do? I'd go buy more. Another round of fertilizer, another $50, and the cycle just kept repeating. I was spending $400 a season on plant food and still not getting the harvests I expected. Then one evening, I fell down a rabbit hole reading about traditional farming practices in Korea. Small-scale farmers growing incredible food on tiny plots of land, with almost no purchased inputs. They were making their own plant nutrition from weeds, forest soil, brown sugar, and rainwater. Fermented concoctions that they'd been passing down for generations. I was skeptical. Honestly, I almost closed the tab. But something about the simplicity of it stuck with me, so I tried it. I made my first batch that weekend, and by that fall, my garden looked better than it had in 10 years. The next spring, I made a bigger batch. Didn't buy a single product from the store, and my results were the best I'd ever had. Not by a little, by a lot. Here's something most gardeners never stop to calculate: the actual annual cost of keeping a modest vegetable garden fed with store-bought fertilizers. Let's say you've got 4 or 5 raised beds, maybe a couple hundred square feet total. Pretty average backyard setup. A bag of good organic fertilizer runs $12 to $18. You'll need at least 2 or 3 of those per season. Then maybe some fish emulsion for foliar feeding. That's another $15. Compost, unless you're making your own, another $20 to $30. Worm castings if you want them, 15 more. Add it all up and you're easily spending $150 to $300 a year just to feed your plants. And here's the part that really started to bother me. Those products are designed to be used up. That's the business model. Granular fertilizers break down in 4 to 6 weeks. Liquid feeds last maybe 2 weeks in the soil. So you keep buying, keep applying, keep spending. Season after season after season. The fertilizer industry, and I'm not saying they're evil, they're just running a business. But their model depends on you coming back. They have zero incentive to sell you something that lasts 6 months. Think about that for a second. If you could feed your garden for an entire growing season with one application of something you made for free, would you ever buy another bag of fertilizer? Probably not. And that's exactly why this method doesn't get talked about in mainstream gardening circles. It's not complicated. It's not dangerous. It's just not profitable for anyone except you. The other problem with conventional fertilizers is what they don't do. They feed the plant, sure, but most of them do almost nothing for the soil. Synthetic fertilizers especially. They bypass the soil biology entirely. It's like giving someone a vitamin pill, but never feeding them actual food. Over time, your soil gets weaker, your microbial life declines, and you become even more dependent on those products. It's a cycle, and most gardeners don't even realize they're stuck in it. What I stumbled onto isn't some trendy gardening hack from social media. It's a fermentation method that Korean farmers have been using for generations. It's called Korean natural farming, or KNF, and versions of it show up in traditional agriculture across Japan, India, and Central America. Different names, slightly different ingredients, but the same core idea. You collect beneficial microorganisms from your local environment, feed them simple sugars, let them ferment, and then use the result to inoculate your soil with living biology. The specific preparation I'm talking about today is often called indigenous microorganism serum, or IMO for short. But honestly, the name doesn't matter. What matters is what it does. When you apply this fermented solution to your soil, you're not just adding nutrients, you're introducing billions of beneficial bacteria and fungi that colonize the root zone of your plants. These microbes break down organic matter in the soil, leaves, roots, dead insects, everything, and convert it into plant-available nutrition. Slowly, steadily, over months. That's why one application can feed your plants for an entire growing season. You're not dumping a dose of nitrogen that washes away in the next rain. You're building a living system that generates its own fertility, continuously. The science behind this is well documented. Soil microbiologists have known for decades that healthy microbial communities are the foundation of productive soil. The difference is, you don't need a lab to do this. You don't need special equipment. You don't need a degree. You need a bucket, some cooked rice, some leaf litter from the woods, and a bag of brown sugar. That's it. I have 4 things, and 2 of them are free. Let me walk you through exactly how I make this, because the beauty of it is that you probably have most of what you need within a short walk of your front door. First, cook a small batch of plain white or brown rice, about 2 cups, cooked without any salt or oil. You want it plain and slightly underdone, a little sticky. Spread it in a shallow wooden box or even a small cardboard tray, about 1 inch deep. You're going to use this rice as bait to attract the indigenous microorganisms that live in your local environment. Take that tray of rice and set it in a spot where natural decomposition is happening. The edge of a forest is perfect. Under a mature oak tree. Beside a fallen log. Anywhere you see rich, dark leaf litter and that deep, earthy smell. Cover the tray loosely with a breathable cloth or a piece of screen to keep animals out, but let air flow through. Leave it for 3 to 5 days. Now here's where it gets really interesting. When you come back, and this is my favorite part, that rice will be covered in fuzzy white and sometimes pink or orange mold. Don't be alarmed. That's exactly what you want. Those are your indigenous microorganisms, the bacteria and fungi that are native to your specific soil and climate. This is what makes this method so powerful. You're not buying generic microbes from a bottle. You're capturing the ones that already thrive where you live. Step 3. Take that colonized rice and put it in a glass jar or a clean bucket. Add an equal volume of brown sugar. So if you have 2 cups of rice, add 2 cups of brown sugar. Mix it together thoroughly. Really get it combined. The brown sugar acts as a food source and a preservative. It feeds the microbes and keeps them alive in a dormant state. Cover the jar with a cloth or paper towel. Never seal it airtight. These organisms need to breathe. Most people make a mistake right here. They put a tight lid on the jar and wonder why the whole thing goes rancid. Fermentation produces gas. If you seal it, you'll kill the aerobic microbes and encourage the wrong kind of bacteria. Loose cover only. Always. Let this mixture sit at room temperature, out of direct sunlight, for about 7 to 10 days. You'll notice it starts to produce a sweet, slightly fermented smell, almost like wine or bread dough. If it smells rotten or foul, something went wrong. Start over. A good ferment smells pleasant, earthy, sweet, alive. After 7 to 10 days, strain the liquid through cheesecloth or a fine mesh strainer. What you've got now, that golden brown liquid, is your concentrated microorganism serum. This is the magic. 1 jar of this will treat your entire garden for months. Here's how you use it. Dilute the serum at a ratio of 1 to 20. 1 part serum, 20 parts water. So if you use 1 cup of serum, mix it with 20 cups of water. That's about 1.25 gallons. Use non-chlorinated water if possible. Rainwater is ideal. If you're on city water, let it sit in an open bucket for 24 hours to let the chlorine off gas, because chlorine kills the microbes you just spent a week growing. Apply this diluted solution directly to your soil, around the base of your plants. You can also use it as a foliar spray, but the real magic happens in the soil. I usually apply about 1 gallon of diluted solution per raised bed, once in early spring when I'm prepping my beds, and then 1 more light application about 6 weeks later. That's it, 2 applications, and my soil stays biologically active for the full growing season. 1 pro tip: if you want to supercharge this, add a tablespoon of unsulfured molasses to your diluted solution before applying. The molasses gives the soil microbes an immediate sugar boost and helps them colonize faster. I've done side-by-side tests with and without the molasses, and the beds that got molasses showed noticeably faster plant growth in the first 2 weeks. For storage, the concentrated serum keeps for months. Some people report keeping it for over a year. Store it in a cool, dark place with a loose-fitting lid. You'll know it's still good by the smell. Sweet, fermented, earthy, that's alive and healthy. Sour, rotten, or like vinegar, it's gone bad. Toss it and make a new batch. And here's a trick I learned after my 2nd year. You can repeat the rice collection process in different locations to capture different microbial communities. I have 1 batch from the oak grove behind my property and another from the edge of my compost pile. Different environments, different microbes, broader biological diversity in my soil. My plants seem to respond best when I alternate between the 2. So what actually happens in the garden when you start using this stuff consistently? In my experience, the first thing you notice is the soil itself. Within a few weeks, it starts to look different, darker, more crumbly. Earthworms show up in numbers you haven't seen before. The soil starts to smell rich, that deep forest floor smell that tells you something alive and healthy is happening underground. Then the plants respond. My tomatoes set more fruit. My peppers, which used to just sit there through June, started producing weeks earlier. Squash plants that normally gave me 5 or 6 fruits per plant started putting out 8, 9, 10. And the flavor, this is something that's hard to quantify, but I swear the vegetables taste better. More intense, more complex. My wife noticed it before I even mentioned what I was doing differently. Let's talk about the cost comparison. because this is where it really hits home. A bottle of commercial microbial inoculant, the store-bought version of what we just made, runs $15 to $30 and treats maybe 100 square feet. A season's worth of synthetic fertilizer for a modest garden, $150 to $300. My homemade ferment. The rice cost maybe 40 cents. The brown sugar, $1. Everything else was free. Total cost for a 6-month supply, less than $2. I'll say that again. Less than $2 for an entire season of plant nutrition. And it's not just about saving money, although that's reason enough. This method builds your soil instead of depleting it. Every application makes the soil richer, more alive, more productive for next season. You're not just feeding this year's garden, you're investing in every garden you'll ever grow. It's the exact opposite of the commercial fertilizer treadmill. And there's something deeply satisfying about it, about knowing that you grew all of this food without depending on a single product from a single company. That's real self-sufficiency. Not the kind you read about, the kind you practice. Here's what I want you to do, and I mean this week, not someday. Go cook a cup of rice tonight. Find a shady spot near some trees or at the edge of some woods, and set that rice out tomorrow morning. In 5 days, you'll have the start of something that can transform the way you grow food, forever. It costs almost nothing. It takes almost no effort. And the results, in my experience, speak for themselves. Drop a comment and tell me if you've tried any kind of natural fermentation in your garden before, or if this is completely new to you. I want to hear about it. And when you make your first batch, come back and let me know what you see after a few weeks. Those early results are always the most exciting. If you want to go deeper into building your soil biology, I've got a video on making compost tea that pairs perfectly with this method. And if you're interested in the full Korean natural farming system, there's a lot more to explore beyond what I covered today, and I'll be doing more videos on that. This is how we stop being customers and start being growers. Everything you need is already out there. In your kitchen, in your woods, in your soil. You just have to know how to unlock it. And now, you do.